And talking to Haley's spotter, he's saying it's shut off going into the horseshoe. So obviously, no power, right? You know, just I feel like Back to the Future 2 with the the hoverboard there. So as we are hovering our way here, we have our grade 8 set for our seeding brackets. Again, this all dictates going into the finals, top 32. So thank you guys for joining us here. All right, here we go. Grade 8, Diego Higa coming to us from Brazil against Dmitry Brudski. So Higa, new livery, new look, JDM Supreme. Brudski, he's got that mud on the side. Looks like he's actually just left King of the Hammers with that thing more than being here at the drift track. But here we go, our first battle of the Grade 8. This is the K&N seeding bracket. Now it's all about position in the bracket and who you go against. So these guys are guaranteed into the show. Diego Higa initiates with that Speed Hunters kit, looking good. Shout out to TJ Hunt. Diego Higa transitions. Here now coming up the hill. Here goes Brudski into that second outside zone. Let's see how they handle it. Higa dialed. I mean, Diego Higa, it seems that he's found his secret sauce. Gosh, this course is just so much fun. The elevation changes. Diego, that's why Brudski has mud on his car. Yeah. Diego is really finding that sweet spot. You know, him in this car, it just didn't quite work out, but this year, from Long Beach to even here, it looks amazing. Yeah, it's something coming together, and if you watch Brazilian drifting, you know they're not afraid of hills. And Diego Higa looks right at home here. Good initiation, good job coming up the hill. Very smooth through here, gets into that outside zone nice and early. Leaves a little bit too early in my opinion, but front wheel on that first line coming off the inside clip. A little bit tight through that line. They can definitely run the midline, but I mean, I think the other part that I haven't even touched on yet is Brudski in the chase. A little bit safe. Same thing, just a little bit safe there. And I would love that line. I'm just saying analogous to like fishing, you know, like like pull it closer, hold it closer to the chest. So Brudski, we'll see Diego Higa again. That Street Hunters kit looking good. The new livery. And Brudski, he's got his sick livery too this year. Coming up the hill. Let's see if Diego gets close in proximity. That was tight. That was really, and there we go. Talking about how good the car looks, but battle worn. Look at that. Diego Higa dives in on the inside. That was really well done. The timing there, as unfortunately Diego, he tried to mimic that once again on that last transition, but I'm telling you, maybe you know, Diego said, screw it, I'm gonna get right there, and he risked his bumper, but that second time, talking about that line. Yeah, so a little bit of a hesitation for the initiation there from Dmitry Brudski. I do like the line he's pulling through this section, pushes him out nice and wide. It's very smooth. Higa starts to pull things in as he gets comfortable, and now we start to see how close he can drive with proximity. And he almost starts to bully Brudski around the course here. It's like a kind of a veteran move where you start to see them push the pace a little bit. And the hard part is right there. When you do it a little bit too much, you dive in a little bit too hard and don't know what that other driver's going to do. That's when you run into that situation. And that's what happened there with Diego Higa. He got a little too pushy, and with that, you can get caught. And that's more or less what we saw there with Diego Higa. Just a little bit too aggressive, a little too strong in the chase, but Dmitry Brudski out front, I mean, he did have a great lead run. So if it comes down to the chase, what the judges are going to have to decide is a overly aggressive or a not aggressive enough chase, the differential between these two lead runs. Yeah, just looking at this here again, I love that move by Diego. That was like you say, a veteran move. Bullying, timing, too aggressive. You know, was Brudski to blame there? You know what I mean? Like on that. lead down 370Z, and then. All right, so Ryan Literal will chase him down. That staggered start. I mean, lights everywhere, man. You can barely see it. It looks like a T Swift concert over here. All right, Jeff Jones comes down the hill. Ryan Literal, you can see him being aggressive from the start. You know, this is good practice, but you want to salvage your vehicle for game day. But Jeff Jones, this would be a great momentum push for him. And as obviously for Ryan Literal, and look at that, Ryan tucked in the smoke, Jeff Jones hammering down. And Literal tucked in to that pocket, the hot pocket, but it's smoke filled.
I love the way that Ryan is transitioning. So there's a bunch of different ways to transition in the chase, and what he's doing is kind of holding back and shooting through it. So I'll point it out here in a second, but it's really, really smart. So Jeff Jones going up there, tons of smoke, like just burning those tires off. So come through here, Jeff could have been a little bit deeper, and now we start to see it come through. Watch here, Ryan, look at just times it perfectly. Doesn't have to pull the car back, does the exact same thing through here. Doesn't have to pull the car back. It's such a smooth, elegant way to chase. It's so hard to do though. It's much easier to dive into the pocket, tap the brakes, pull the car back, dive back in. Like it's just a different technique, and that's what I love, especially about drifting, is like there's so many different ways you can do this. Yeah,
you know, the only thing, and again, love Ryan. I'd like to see him mimic the angle a little bit more. Right. Seems like he's kind of given that Daigo-esque, that good proximity, but would love to see him mimic that angle more. And that first clip point in the chase, he kind of straight line, kind of beelined across it. But right now, you call him a styly boy. So let's see if the styly boy shows up here right now. And I would say definitely so. Look at that massive angle there. I mean, he is parallel parking that thing into that second outside zone. Brings it in and through the horseshoe. I mean, if Ryan Literal continues this pace, he's gonna be a showstopper here. As Jeff Jones, I mean, that's great. That is two really good runs from both of these guys who would really love to be on the box here in Atlanta.
I don't think anybody can be upset, no matter how this decision goes. But
right.
Check out that big swing there. Little bit of a brake tap, e-brake there, front brake tap. Comes to that inside clip, does a good job there. Jeff doing a good job keeping the car in proximity, but not super tight. Ryan scrubs a lot of speed there, so could have been a bit deeper through that outer zone, and then still on the power, is able to get the car rotated around. So still, while driving the car forward, bringing the car around. I'm happy to see the Ryan Literal that we got to see back in.
He's running his hot pit events.
So there's a lot of trust.
Busy guy.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Jacob, who's it going to be, left or right? Jones or Literal? And Jones gets the win. And like you said, he's in the show.
Yeah.
That's up there. It's a really weird thing that Sofa does.
Getting in on the action now, too.
Joao Barrion, Vaughn Gittin Jr., both these guys rocking the M-Claw. One from Brazil, one from America. So originally from Annapolis, Maryland, now living in North Carolina, Concord to be exact. His shop, the RTR lab, is absolutely insane. Love the facility. Been there a couple times. Just there for the happy birthday to the Ford Mustang, the Mustang's 60th anniversary. Just a couple weeks ago out there in Charlotte. And here we go. So Corvette versus Mustang, Brazilian versus American, Monster versus Monster. Let's see what we got. So look at that. Joao Barrion leads because of Vaughn Gittin Jr., you know, wasn't at round one. So rightfully so. You go to the back of the line, kid. You can't sit here. All right. So Vaughn Gittin Jr., two-time champ, going against Joao Barrion. Again, car is looking really dialed. Let's see what Joao can do in front of the two-time Formula Drift champion, 2010 and 2020. All right, the Nitto tires go round into that first clip. Transitioning now out of the smoke. Goes Vaughn Gittin Jr., Joao Barrion. These guys both bobbing and weaving. Talk about that boxing match. Look at Vaughn. You can just hear him whack, whack, whack. Just whacking away at that thing like a lumberjack. Into this last inside clip. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you, I mean, look at the flame shooting out of Joao's car. I mean, did you hear him just clutch kick that thing? I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah, Joao, he's really coming into his own here at this event. So as they come down, he's on throttle, going down the hill, you know, initiating at 3, and then the rate to angle that he gets in that transition point, I love to see it. And I think it threw Vaughn for a bit of a loop. And Vaughn's a pro. I mean, he's a veteran he's a pro's pro, and he knows what to do in any situation, and does a good job through the rest of it. But I do think this caught Vaughn a little bit off guard, the way that Joao was handling the car and how fast he was transitioning. So.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
Love the initiation through Vaughn as well, how much he can carry through the car. He knows how to drive this car better than anybody else in the world. I mean, I'd hope so. But yeah, filling that outside zone from Joao. Could have been a little bit deeper through that inside clip. Love seeing how fast that car rotates. And then right here, you can see Vaughn get back on the power, start to dart in. Knows that he can make up a lot of speed through that inside clip. As long as you don't overshoot it and get into the red dirt, you're all right.
Joao Barrion or Vaughn Gittin Jr. So this is how it's shaping up. Diego and Jones already in the mix. So like we said, the top 8 here already advance on into Saturday's main event. And the tires getting warmed up on Burkett and Mohan, that bottom left-hand corner. Finish out the second half of this battle. We used to enter on the bottom and go out the top.
Right, and then as the cars got faster.
Yeah, now it's like go to the top and come down.
Yeah.
And the flow is, I think, just way much better given, as you say, the car builds, the progression of the sport and driving prowess. So all of it, all things considered. Here we go. So let's alternate the order here with Mohan and Burkett. So Rad Dan out front. Rad and Supra. I mean, Kyle Mohan, he needs to join the conversation. Slide into those DMs, or better yet, slide into that inside clip. Dan Burkett flying into that second outside zone. I think he knew he needed to step it up, and he is doing that, man. So, Dan Burkett. Woo! I mean, that was, if we had single run qualifying, that was
up there.
A1 steak sauce, baby. Hits you right in the jowls. That was spicy and sweet at the same time.
Yeah, he went full rocket ship on that. Look at the gap he produced there on Kyle Mohan as they come through. Big initiation. And then we start to see them push through, and then Kyle just kind of getting lost in the smoke. Now, Rad Dan could have filled that outside zone there a little bit more, just coming up the hill, but nothing too crazy. A little bit deeper on our inside clip there, but yeah, I mean, it was a great run from Rad Dan. I'm not quite sure why they called the timeout, if it was just checking on something, but it's almost like he just turned up the boost.
All right, so here's our BC Racing custom coilovers side-by-side. Go for gold. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift.
So really what you want to watch here is the lead runs.
Yeah, watch the left screen.
Yeah. So let's see how they do. So that outside zone is kind of the differential there. I think we've actually got the wrong side-by-sides there.
Oh yeah, that's
Vaughn.
Yeah, it's Vaughn and Joao.
I mean, hey, super cool.
The cars look very familiar. It's like they're green and blue. Yeah.
Took even me a second.
Yeah, good. Seeing that in that overhead. So here we go. Slide them left for Mohan. Slide them right for Dan Burkett. Looks like Dan Burkett will get 1 vote, 2 votes. Dan Burkett gets the win. Mohan is in the show on Saturday, but placement is TBD for KMOHAN. It's read aloud in class, and then 7th grade, Mr. Curtis. He says, Jared, get up here. I said, what? He says, I heard you. I said, my best friend Mike. I was like, he was talking. He's like, I only heard you. So that was maybe a little bit of foreshadowing. That's what I always say. So reading and my voice carries through. All right, so don't know what Vaughn, you know, it looked like he had no power, then he had power. We'll see what happens to Vaughn. But like you said, I think he was a little startled on how well Joao drove. So Diego Higa, our #1 qualifier in again, by how Joao Barrion was driving, did not anticipate that driving prowess from Joao, but now he's going to chase down, like I said, this 2-time champ. So don't know exactly what Vaughn called the cop timeout for. Joao overkicks it, gets into the gravel, he throws it up, grabs the machine gun, big angle there from Vaughn Gittin Jr. Oh, he gets into the dirt now, re-enters the conversation, now exit out of the horseshoe, and And Joao Barrion, he takes out I mean, this is Sloppy Joe. These guys are absolutely terrorizing this course. Oh. Joao, he overshoots it, that exit. Whew. Man, I'm exhausted. I mean, these guys absolutely motley crewed this place. Like they're staying, you know, at a hotel and just threw the TV out the window, man. These guys thrashed the place.
We'll be looking for Kentucky Bluegrass a little bit later on to replant half this field, but yeah, it's definitely got a little sloppy there. Vaughn looked like he put the car in kill mode. He was crazy fast, as you can see, by dropping possibly 2 wheels out there. Now, that is not a DQ, that is not a 0, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, incomplete. Now it's a deficit.
Yeah, it's a deficit. So they've the judges have significantly reduced the chances of incompleting. You basically just have to drive straight is kind of the best way to put it.
Jersey, unlike in the finals, we do have a third place consolation battle here.
Ah, okay.
Remember?
Right.
Yeah, because it's all about seeding.
Right.
Yep. So taking a look at this again. Go for it.
Yeah, as you can see, just Vaughn, how deep he got out through that section, and then you can watch here with Zhao how much he overshoots coming through. That gets lost in the smoke and then pushes out real wide. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously the judges, because of that delay, want to do a
180 with a truck bed.
Yeah.
And we had editors of magazines as judges in New Jersey. Like, I mean, we've seen a lot of things over the years. But here we go. Slide him left for Joao Barrion, right for Vaughn Gittin Jr. Joao Barrion gets 1 vote and 2 votes. So Joao Barrion, Joao gets the win over Vaughn Gittin Jr. BTS of what went on either in the head or on the track or off the track, and just break it all down. So Nitto presents Marius and how the car is hooking up. It's really great to see. Yeah.
I mean, a year off is tough. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like that.
But it's not that he hasn't been driving or busy.
No, dude's been driving probably more. He's got those little Miatas in his driveway. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost want to just go to his house so I can just go bang on those Miatas in the driveway.
Yeah, again, like we said, a lot of transplants out there to Florida.
Yeah.
All right, Higa, Burkett, Jones, and Barrion in the 4. And again, the 3rd place position. So Diego Higa, you know, guaranteed top 2.
Yeah.
Love. And going to be pulling them here in the GT Radial Burnout box. Our K&N seating bracket, final 4. So, by the way, if you're here in the building, GoPro, stop by and see the brand new Hero 12 Black. Exclusive pricing here on site. Discount plus an accessory bundle worth $200. Only available here at Formula Drift. Also a daily giveaway at the GoPro booth, 7 p.m. each day. So be sure to go on by. And they showed the video for it, but the Torque Drift 2 is the official drifting game of,
is it that
not the Shabuzi
Jack Daniels
one.
And I got a history?
Yeah, that one.
That one's pretty catchy.
Yeah, they're all catchy.
They're all pretty catchy.
But all right, here we go. Speaking of catchy, who's going to catch the win? Here we go, Diego Higa and Dan Burkett. Diego Higa, he's street hunting right now, street sharking from Brazil. Look at that. Woo! 2 great looking cars, got chrome spinning. Into that second outside zone goes Higa. Coming through the smoke. Barely see him. I mean, they are bathing in it. Bed Bath and Beyond. Holy cow, as Dan Burkett almost goes off course once again. Higa is just ripping. Well done by Diego Higa out front. Dan Burkett looked like he was just trying to catch up to him.
Yeah, that was a great battle. We're already seeing some incredible battles here, and we're only in the seating bracket at this point. So Diego Higa doing a phenomenal job out in the lead. Rad Dan getting bathed in some GT smoke there, not able to see his way through, and Diego Higa able to get to that outside zone into the inside clip. Now Dan starts to reel things in. It took him the keyhole to basically get his bearings again, and then as he does, he has to kick the back end out and scrub a bit of speed so he doesn't dip it into the dirt once again and bend another wheel. A little bit to be desired in the chase there. So Higa is able to you know, if Dan puts down a decent lead there, there's definitely room for Higa to chase well. We've already seen him chase really well tonight, so I expect Higa to be back on the door unless the spotter's like, yo, chill, we got to save some for something.
All right, so yeah, and like we said, this is just all indicating where you are in our 32 bracket on Saturday. Dan Burkett, let's see if he gets rad right now, but Higa gets almost this. Oh, and Higa looks like his transition was late. He gets thrown off. So Higa, who was dialed in that lead position, now has a major mistake in the chase. Takes out that course indicator. That's not a clip, but then he goes on the wrong side of that inside clip. So with just such a great lead run for Higa, makes a massive 1-2 mistakes in that chase position.
Yeah, just being too aggressive. So this is where, I mean, it's great to be aggressive. It's cool to see him start to come into his own this way, but you have to be careful. And this is where you see it. He gets lost in the smoke, misses his transition timing. It's because of how aggressive he was coming down the hill, and then that pushes him wide through our first outside zone. Then to the second outside zone, he's got a cut. So that one mistake at initiation caused basically 3 sections of the track to kind of be thrown out the window, while Rad Dan out front sitting pretty, able to get through the track, no major, you know, nothing where I'm like, oh my God, they would have staff here and rode Atlanta Michelin Raceway.
All right, I think they're going to slide him right, unfortunately for Diego Higa, but Dan Burkett, what an ego boost, a shot in the system for Rad Dan. GT Radial, Sunex Tools, Rad Industries, Toyota Supra. Earlier in Pro Spec, hanging out watching Pro. Homeboy from Chico, California, has his own shop, built his S chassis. Great looking car, and we'll see how he fares tomorrow. Zero Chill Wills in the building. Jeff Jones, Joao Barrion, other side of this Final Four bracket. Who is going against Rad Dan? Jones or Barrion?
I'm very much looking forward to this. I love seeing how Barrion's coming, just like he's got that momentum, he's driving well, he's putting it all together, and Jeff Jones is looking really stable.
Yep.
He's playing it smart, he's not getting overly aggressive. So we've got somebody who's on a heater, he's got all the adrenaline going.
Yep.
Somebody who's like, I'm gonna get through this, I'm gonna do well, I'm gonna, you know, playing it smart. So
I think they're fairly comparable.
Yes.
Again, just the attitude of the car, the driving prowess, you know, seems like it's all coagulating for him here in Atlanta. They keep this progression up. But, you know, do you think it's a benefit or a disadvantage to have a day off from tonight and then got to chill, put on ice on Friday, and then now you come back Saturday?
I do think it's tough. I've spoken to a lot of drivers about it, and they're like, man, it is like, you know, you're here, you're interacting with fans, that's phenomenal. But that slowdown is, I mean, that's going to play with your head. It's another day to think about everything.
I wouldn't want to do it.
I know.
I would prefer
I'd want to go
back
right
to
to the
back.
battles right after that. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, that being said, you know, you pop an engine, you need to do a big service.
Yeah.
You're loving that.
Oh, yeah. Great point.
So,
great point.
Yeah. You're praising that full day at that point.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, and the amount of time these guys can change engines in, you know, we always kind of give the flowers to Papadakis, but it seems like every, you know, just the evolution of what's gone on from 2004, our first ever year here, setups, displays, engine builds, progression, parts availability, the aftermarket components. There's so many different facets to all of this. So here we go. Jeff Jones will lead Joao Barrion, and now transitioning into this first inside clip, Jeff Jones. And look at Joao, like you said, he cuts through that thing like a knife. I mean, the smoke, oh, buddy, Joao, you saw him initiate it, grips up right there in the horseshoe. And two very, I mean, 16, oh, that's it. That's going to be it for Joao, but we still have that second half. But I'll tell you what, I bet you he calls the comp timeout. I don't think Joao, he didn't utilize his. When he went against Vaughn, Vaughn did call his comp timeout.
Yeah, you could almost see it coming when they're coming up the hill. You can see Joao just bathed in smoke, and you can, whether there's a mechanical or not, you can tell how lost he got there. So Jeff gets on the power a little bit later, but you can see Joao already fighting through the smoke there, and then right here, you're not seeing much. And then transition super early. Jeff really nice and wide through that outside zone. Does a good job through the inside clip, and then Joao transitions super early there, and I believe shuts it down. Well, Jeff able to get through the rest of the
All right, so as we lay out and listen to that, watch the car grip up here. And then as they exit the horseshoe, it just, bloop, you see it straighten out and as they exit the horseshoe. So we are getting more of that. Schwab will call a competition timeout. So a little bit of delay here, but we've had a good flow up until this point.
That's why it's so crazy.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great series to follow here. Tonton presents moments. But right now, so update on the action. Schwab Barillon did not make his competition timeout. So I think that's a good approach. He's gonna, you know, like you said, he might have a bigger issue, so that day off might help him. But right now, Jeff Jones, he's got to finish out the second portion of this battle, and then the EVO Auto Works Nissan 370Z Energy Innovations Big Drift Energy. He is going to the finals against Rad Dan Burkett. So there we can see it, the 818. So Prism, Jeff Jones, Dan Burkett will throw some fresh tires underneath that vehicle. So it'll be Jones and Burkett in the finals. This should be a fun one to watch. But now a little lull here because Jeff is going to need to throw some fresh rubber out back. So, yeah, and again, so let's take a look at how we got here. So Burkett versus Jones in the finals. Diego gets third place. Again, all this is dictating where they are in our 32 bracket on Saturday's main event, the Type S Round 2 here, presented by AutoZone. So when we come back, the pieces fall where the cars fall where they may as far as seating our K&N seating bracket finals. Jones and Burkett. Nissan versus Toyota. Well, the Nissan's got obviously a V8 under the hood, and the Mark IV, he is tried and true. This gentleman loves Supras. I think he's just collects them like Hot Wheels. So Rad Dan Burkett. All right, Jeff Jones will lead. Dan will give chase. The lights are on. Once they extinguish, we're ready to send it. All right, who's coming out on top? Who's got the bragging rights here tonight under the lights? Jeff Jones comes down, EVO Auto Works, Nissan 370Z, Dan Burkett gets into position, gets into that pocket, now goes past, just barely taps that inside clip, knocks it out of the way into that first outside zone, now coming second, Dan Burkett making a correction, gets swirly there, almost gets to the side of Jeff Jones. You can see that lacking that angle. Jeff Jones is, again, a big bragging rights here for him, coming back down the hill. Dan Burkett a little shaken up there in the horseshoe, but Jeff Jones hammers it. Well done by Jones.
Yeah, a little squirrely Dan there. Little squirrely Dan the chase.
Allegedly.
All right, Jeff Jones out front. Initiation there, not a ton of angle coming through it. It was safe. It was well put together. And we see Dan in the chase there, trying to get the car pushed in a little bit more. A little bit too much angle, not enough angle, straightening it out, pushing the car around, just not getting the fluidity, whereas Jeff Jones out front doesn't hesitate, understands what's going on, and just gets through the run. I mean, it was a really, really solid run from Jeff Jones, and I think Rad Dan just had a bit of a flub there, even starting back at initiation, just kind of chasing it after that. And that's, once you start feeling like you're behind, once you start feeling like you're making some mistakes, then you're just making more mistakes trying to fix the first one.
Well, and you said it earlier too, is once you get thrown off of that, it's just a chain reaction of these mistakes where you're thrown off here, then it throws off there, and then it just compounds, right? Yeah. So that's what happened with Dan.
You can clean it up in the keyhole. Like, that's the one great thing about Atlanta is, like, you've got this almost compression zone where things slow down. You can calm down a little bit. You can cut a ton of line in there, and then get your car resettled and at least get the next couple of zones and be in a good spot. So.
All right, so Jeff Jones, in my mind, has an advantage here. Dan Burkett, he needs to put down a heater run. He needs to have, I would say, a rad run here. So Dan Burkett, dad jokes, dad bod, dad life. That's what we do, right, Jacob? All right, here we go. So Rad Dan Burkett, he is leading that Rad Industries Mark IV Toyota Supra. Now coming down the hill, you can see him on the brakes and the progression now into that inside clip. Jeff taps it once again. I think Jeff is he might play this a little strategy-wise, play it safe. He knows that, Dan Burkett's got an uphill battle here, but just as I say that ain't safe. That's risking it for the biscuit, baby. EVO Auto Works, Big Drift Energy. Jeff Jones, one more clip for glory, and I gotta assume that the needle is gonna go the way of Jeff Jeff Jones in that Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z, given the mistakes that Dan had on that first run.
Yeah, I do agree. I think Jeff had a really solid chase there. Brad Dan out front was a solid run. There was some room for improvement. I mean, I like the initiation here. Pretty late to get back on the throttle, a little bit hesitant. This range angle coming up here looks really nice and smooth, as you can see. Just nice and slow, pushes the car out. But then Jeff, as you said, could have been subtle, could have been laid back, but nope, he decides to start diving back in. Dan hits that clip pretty hard, runs a really shallow line through this section, really tight to the track. And then Jeff leaves a bit more room there. Could have been a bit better in that last section, but I think because of how tight Dan was to the inside of the track, there was almost impossible for him to do that. So, yeah, I feel like I know what the decision is, unless there's something I'm missing here, but I'm seeing the judges already standing, so they've got their calls in. You know, great job for both these drivers. Awesome to see Jeff fighting his way through this, doing really well in the seating bracket. Great to see Dan, you know, fighting and coming back and coming back into his own. And then obviously Higa, who's going to be taking our third place. Just same thing, coming into his own. That's what this is. A big coming out party, if you will.
It's momentum.
Yeah.
But it's momentum. This tonight is going to build momentum for tomorrow, or for Saturday. We keep saying that. But tomorrow is all about Pro Spec. Saturday's about Pro. Round 2 of the Pro Championship. Round 1 of the Link Engine Management Pro Spec Championship. So definitely really, really cool. And we will announce 3, 2, 1. And joining us down there and joining us here on the ground is Sarah Reardon. Sarah Reardon works with US Drift, a Pro-Am sanctioning body here. But let's announce our winners first, and Sarah will have some words with our winner. So again, let's make some noise. Finishing third place here, coming to us from Brazil, Diego Higa. Diego Higa getting it done for his country. Congratulations to him. And now the winner. As both of them step out of their vehicle, wait till they take off their helmets. You're a winner, and then you will know who gets second place here. K&N seating brackets. K&N, the official performance air filter of Formula Drift. Your winner here, seating brackets, again, indicates and dictates how the brackets are set on Saturday's game day. Your winner here in our seating brackets is Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones gets the win. There is second place for the Rad Industry, Sunex Tool, GT Radio, Mark IV Supra, Rad Dan Burkett. There's your podium here for our K&N seating brackets. All killer, no filler. It's all about head-to-head. So with that being said, I throw it down to Sarah Reardon, who, Sarah, again, has some words with our winner, Jeff Jones. Big Drift energy. Sarah, down to you.
Thank you so much, Jared. Let's talk to our winner here first, Jeff Jones. You came